This was referred to our group by me from the city council level and for discussion and possible action.
Well, I don't know, for most of the members last night, I had asked city attorney to come up with a policy for us to not accept resolutions that don't directly impact the city of Hudson's activities by the Wisconsin authority invested in.
You want a motion to turn it down? Do you want a declarative motion like that?
Well, I think that this body, it's referred here, so whatever your choice is, the disposition here is fine. If you want to send this on to the council to either not send it on, tell the council you have rejected it, or send it on with modification, however you want to do it, whatever your pleasure is.
Move to reject?
And I'll second.
Okay? The motion and second to reject the resolution. Discussion?
Can you just repeat what you asked the city attorney to do again?
To draft a policy with regards to resolutions that continue to come to the city of Hudson, that we use the guidelines empowered by Wisconsin state statute and our city policy ordinances to not accept them unless they have, like a resolution for taxing or a resolution for bonding,
Got it.
period.
Got it. Thank you.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Resolution's rejected. We'll send that on to the council, the recommendation from this group. Discussion and possible action on certified survey map, CSM, 2 lots and 1 outlot south and east of Carmichael Road, parcel number 236-1975-07-000, Girard Companies.
This is a follow-up to the concept development plans that the Planning Commission saw last month. This is the next step. I know that Peter and Paul Girard are here and their architects to present. They're going to give an overview of the CSM, which is the formalization of the creation of the lots. So it'll be 2 development parcels, in addition to an outlot, which would contain their stormwater pond. Since we've last met, the council approved authorizing staff and the mayor and the city attorney to execute an agreement in terms of access over the city property to the north so they can get into their property. So that's moving along. This, again, is just the formalization of creating the legal parcels. They're going to present on the CSM as well as their architectural plans for the property as well, from what I understand. So, Peter, Paul.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and representatives of the Planning Commission, City of Hudson. I'm Paul Girard, address 420 Fifth Avenue South, La Crosse, Wisconsin. We're here with, and I'm joined with our team, my partner and brother Peter, Jim Pancras, who's the architect of record on the improvement of the structure. Todd Erickson is representing the civil engineering. Thomas Greer is also with Jim as well, and the project foreman, Brad Corkbine. I think what we'd like to do is just answer a few little questions for you related to the certified survey map, see if you have any questions. And then what we would like to do is do a architectural presentation for you of the actual building, so you could see that. And I just want to give a nice little plug here for the audience that's listening out there in the greater Hudson area. If you like what you see and you're interested in getting on a wait list, I'm being presumptuous thinking this is going to be approved, but our telephone number is 715-386-3510. So with that, what I'd like to do is see if you have any questions of us as it relates to the CSM, and I'll bring Todd Erickson up with Erickson Engineering.
evening. My name is Todd Erickson, as Paul had indicated. I'm engineer, representing the engineering and the surveying for the project. As Mike had indicated, we have got a two lots subdivision, CSM. We're creating 2 lots, lot 1 and lot 2, and then an outlot down in the southwest corner of the project. The project will be accessed off of Maxwell. I don't know if I can, maybe we'll just use that one. I got a pointer here. Actually, no, you won't be able to see it. All right, anyways, yeah, there we go.
I don't know if that shows up.
Oh, I'm back here.
Gotta go back.
There we go. I got it. It's a good overview. So we're coming down from the north there by the Shell station, coming off of Maxwell, coming down and creating a cul-de-sac that'll all be city right-of-way and built to city specs. And working with Mr. Sifko on that. And then from that point on, we'll be coming into the site, creating 2 different parcels, one for phase 1, which we're moving forward with the site plan, and then phase 2, which would come there sometime after as market conditions allow. The site would have ponding to the east of the parcel, and then an infiltration basin on the south. That then it would overflow as it naturally does today down onto the St. Croix Meadows project. So, and we're coordinating with the engineers for that project, and they actually have a pond designed right at that location, so it's worked out really well for this design to come back onto that. So city utilities will be brought down the extension of Maxwell to the site with we'll have sanitary sewer brought down to the site as part of this project. We'll be constructing that as part of this project, and we'll also be installing water main and looping the water main through off of Carmichael and then off of Carmichael and then looping it back up all the way to Maxwell. So it'll be a nice loop, good fire protection, good water quality for the residents. And then let's see, anything else that the project actually has two 3-story units, and the architect would speak to that. But then and on the other side, we've got some garage units that will be up closer to Carmichael.
Why are you doing that, may I ask, in front of the building?
Well, it's actually.
I know it's down, isn't it? The elevation is down?
Yeah, the elevation it's down about 12 feet, so you're going to be seeing the tops of those garages and actually be looking at the nice part of the structure of the building. So you'll see above the garage area, and then the nice architectural.
Well, it's not visible, basically.
Exactly, and then there's quite a bit of trees aligned along Carmichael that we intend to, save the good ones and then install some new ones as we go too. So, I guess with that, I could open it up for any discussion or questions.
One last question. It came up last time about the ponds.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to be owned by you and maintained by you, but the city will still have the right to go in if you don't do it to fix
Correct.
these things, and
That's correct.
that has not changed.
Oh, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what it is. So they'll be private ponds. I guess initially that one will be our pond because but they have to maintain it, and if they fail to maintain that pond, because it serves only their project, then we have the
That's why I'm
authority to go
asking the question.
pass it back to them. Yep, exactly.
That's not a problem.
Okay,
Private
okay,
will maintain.
perfect.
Actually, as part of the DNR's stormwater permitting, we have to indicate a stormwater maintenance plan.
So you will also build that street to city code, and then when it's done, you give that to the city? I mean, once it passes and all that stuff, the city will assume that, and then, of course, the maintenance and plowing and all of that.
Correct.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. And there's fire there's adequate fire turnaround in there for the big trucks and all that. A lot of times on these buildings like that, don't they want to go around the building?
Yeah,
Has
we-
that been looked at?
We're working on it. So this, remember, this is just the CSM at this point. We still have to have the final
I do
development
have that,
plans,
and-
but I think it's important to at least have this discussion now to ferret out any concerns that the commission might have. And I think the fire access piece is one that we've addressed. There's a hard reinforced turf that comes off of Carmichael being proposed, and there'll be a blow-through barrier. So if Maxwell Drive extension is somehow compromised and you're not able to go access it off of the Maxwell Drive, you'll be able to come in through Carmichael. But it won't look like a access point, because it'll be turf, reinforced turf with barriers that an ambulance or a fire truck could get over and get
Yeah,
through.
and
Oh, I see, okay, thank you. Okay,
I move we approve the certified survey map.
I'll second.
A motion and second to approve, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Thank you.
Thanks.
Discussion and possible action on application by Freeze Properties LLC to rezone 708 Second Street from R2 two-family residential district to B4 commercial district and amend the 2009 City of Hudson Comprehensive Plan land use designation from single and two-family residential to downtown commercial.
Included in your package is my staff report, but I'm definitely going to lean on the commission on this, because it's my understanding that this discussion with Mr. Freeze led to effectively the creation of the B4 zoning district that we recently approved, right?
That
So
is correct.
I think the commission's probably a little bit more informed as to how this is all played out. I think the nice thing, remember, this is just the zoning and the comprehensive plan amendment, right? So through the B4 district, the city still maintains control of use and intensity of use. We had all listed of criteria in the B4 districts that we would make decisions on granting a CUP, right? So anytime anybody wants to do anything in a B4 district, they have to get a conditional use permit, which is a whole nother public hearing, a whole nother notice that goes out to the neighboring properties. And then we talk about how intense is this use? How many vehicles are we looking at? Things of that nature. This, from a staff's perspective, is in line with what the B4 zoning district contemplates, right? It's immediately adjacent to the B3 district, which was what we want, what was intended as part of the B4 district. I think now it's just a matter of whether or not this is in consistence with what the Plan Commission would like to see, how they'd like to see the downtown commercial district grow and expand organically.
Well, my comment on that is Mr. Freeze was good enough to delay his initial proposal waiting for this. And so he's been a patient man, and we thank him for that, and I think he's done and lived up to everything that he said he would do, and then I think now the ball's in our court to do that, which he's come back, I mean, from what we preliminarily heard and his intent and use for the property and the way he's gonna do it, which we, again, get another say at it, he's playing ball. He's doing everything we've asked him to do, so I'm gonna make the motion that we redo the zoning.
I would say that if there are people that want to speak to the matter, I
Oh,
think there might
excuse
be a
me.
few in the audience.
Well, we can
that-
get a motion and second. If there's a second, we can get it on the table. And okay, motion and second to approve. Anyone here want to comment on this? Yes, please, come forward, identify yourself with address, please.
Hi, I'm Karen Nessett. I live at 727 3rd Street. I would just like to say I'm aware of this new zoning regs. I certainly spoke to you at the time when those were being developed. I am opposed to this actually zone change on this particular lot. Our block, and that lot have a very unique circumstance. They have no access off Second Street. And so any business that goes in there, all of the activity of that business, personnel, customers, and all service vehicles, all take place in the alley. And we already have two businesses at the end of Vine the south end of Vine off that alley. That's already the experience there. All of the activity, all the service vehicles, all the personnel, if they have customers, it's all taking place on that alley. So I'm asking that that consideration be looked at, that this is unique. It isn't like other businesses on Vine Street where they have all of their access is off Vine, and it does not impact on the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good point.
Anyone else?
Dennis Kroll, Hudson, 720 First Street. It's my understanding that there is access off of Second. However, there can be access off of Second, and it would have restrictions, of course, but right in, right out, and that kind of thing. That's my understanding.
But not at street level.
At street level, but not without highway approval.
Well, I mean, there's that retaining wall there.
Well, that retaining wall doesn't have to be there.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
And I think that would have to be something that,
We'd have to approve
I think that's further down, if that's even possible. I think that'd be a state thing too, because it is a state highway.
Okay. Frank?
What was the plan for parking for the building?
Do you want to talk about parking?
So, as Dennis explained, the idea is to, of course, eliminate that retaining wall.
Hans, could you
I-
introduce
yeah.
yourself and
Yeah.
name and address, please?
So the retaining
Identify
wall.
yourself, please.
I'm Hans, and I'm owner of that lot that we are discussing, yeah.
Thank you.
And anyway, the plan is to create the access from Second Street, so it's not going to impact at all the circulation on the alley. And of course, we're going to have to submit the plans to the, to the state, so to make sure that this is feasible. But we don't foresee any issues. It's the same situation as the bank that is in the same street as well. They have access from Second Street in and out. Our situation is not that we're gonna be, it's not a retail, it's not a bank, it's not any building that's going to be a constant in and out of clients, or basically people, come in the office and then they leave in the afternoon. So it's very, very quiet through most of the day. So I don't think that's going to have any impact on the alley. It's always going to be, towards the Second Street, which is a commercial, access streets.
I think no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I have a question about parking.
Parking is going to be underneath. Yeah, you basically have a similar situation as Dennis building, where you have you retain all the parking underneath the offices. So you create an office building, then you have all the parking underneath, and then you have two-story of office space. And we're gonna, of course, build everything according to the zoning that was created, the limitations, the guidelines. And nothing's gonna be built till we have all the plans submitted to the planning committee.
Frank?
So the access then would be coming in via the alley and then pulling No, underneath no, coming in Second Street. on Second? Yeah, Second, yeah, no access from the alley at all. Okay. Yeah,
That's
all.
if the state approves that, though, correct?
Exactly.
So
Yeah, we're
we
gonna have to
don't-
submit the plans to the planning commission. We have to submit the plans to the state. And if it's allowed, then we're going to build according to what's approved.
Are you going to expand the parking to include I mean, you own the two other buildings there, and obviously you have cars on the street there. How big would you like the parking to be in that area, if I may ask? How many cars, how many stalls, how many,
Well,
what are you thinking about?
there is a guideline that has been published that tells for 6,000 square foot, which is the area of office space we want to build. It gives the number of parking spaces that we have to build to to be within the plan.
So you're gonna build the parking then to adopt the building on that lot?
Exactly, yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. And that's going to be according to the guidelines that was published, and which is a proportion to the office space.
I didn't
yeah.
realize, I thought maybe you were gonna try to expand the parking there because you have other buildings there with people parking, so.
Correct,
To
yeah.
get more people in there to park off the street. That was my real question.
No, that's not. The plan is to plan enough build
Building
enough
for that
parking to
building.
accommodate what is the building, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Questions, comments? Got a motion, a second before us. All those in favor? Oh,
I just have a question, just for clarification. So if this gets approved, but then the state does not approve that access, where does that leave us?
The owner would still apply for the CUP per what he'd need. I would assume he'd still try to move forward with the project. I'm making that assumption. Assuming that he did and said, I wanted to access from the alley. That'd be a consideration, I would think, that the Plan Commission, it'd be certainly my recommendation that the Plan Commission would take that into consideration in whether or not they were to grant that conditional use permit and effectively approve that use on the site.
How long do you think it's gonna take to get an answer back from the state?
I wouldn't even speculate.
So,
It could be quick, it could take a while.
if we approve this, then, and the state denies it, then are we approving access via the alley for the parking?
Right now, you're not approving any access. Right now, you're just approving the zoning piece, the comp plan amendment and the zoning piece.
And then if there was a parking consideration later, if the state denied it, we would review it again?
You're not reviewing the parking right now, though.
That will come up, Frank.
That will have to.
That will
Yeah.
come up.
That's
You know,
my
that
point.
we were very clear, I think, in that before, and having protections in place to ensure that we had those controls, that we knew, that the city knew what it was getting in terms of intensity of land use, where parking was going to be locating, the duration of that parking, and the amount.
Well, that was my concern, so.
Yep.
anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Anybody have anything for future agendas?
I want to give Gerard's a quick opportunity to present just some architectural, conceptual looks at the Carmichael project. We got through the CSM really quick, but I still think it's important that the commission at least gets to see it.
Come on, Freddie.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing us to present our project. My name is Jim Pankratz, architect for Gerard Corp. And my associate Thomas, he and I have developed this building, and we'd like to show it to you. You got a two-phase project. We're looking at a 36 unit in each building, so the plan is to build two projects, or two structures in consecutive years, with the first one being the building to the north. And we showed you this on the initial site plan. The building towards the north, again, the plan is to be virtually identical buildings, each with 36 units of 1 and 2 bedroom apartment homes. Also, across the driveway there, we have individual parking garages along with under-building parking. In the connection between the two buildings, I'll jump back to that site plan. I wish I could point, but in between, you can see that circle, the circle drive. The two, we have 2,500 square foot of office space in each of the buildings on each of those ends, right towards that center knuckle or the hinge of those two buildings. And the plan there is to develop a commercial office or professional building type campus as a complement to the senior housing. And you can see that each of the buildings will have a canopied entrance, combination of brick masonry and siding. Here's an overview looking from Carmichael. You can see the view from Carmichael will be overlooking the tops of the standalone garage buildings. And there's the opening in between that will showcase the what I referred to before as the knuckle. We do plan a trellis. This would be the two office ends of the building looking west. Each of the main level, we have parking stalls planned, 26 parking stalls below the building, and to the right you'll see the 2,500 square foot of commercial lease space, in addition to the community spaces for the residential tenants, as well as for the use of the commercial tenants as well. We have 3 floors of housing, again, combinations of 1 and 2 bedroom apartment homes. Mix. We currently have a mix of 17 one bedrooms and 19 two bedrooms. Second and third floor are identical, bringing us to our 4th level, and we step the ends back just to create some architectural interest in massing on each end of the corridors. We do have outdoor terrace space for use of the tenants. And last slide is again showing the phase 1 building, again the building to the north with a nicely landscaped circle drive, and you can see the arbor type connector trellis curving that follows that circular drive that connect the 2 building entrances. Anything else to add, anybody? With that, we appreciate.
Maybe I asked this before, but I gotta ask it again, because
cool.
I can't remember
Please.
the answer. Is your 36 tenants per building, is it just market-driven rent determination, or is it subsidized? Is it low income? Is it, I mean, I guess I'm just curious, please repeat that if.
It's following the affordable housing program, so we'll have rents that are from $450 to $1,400. So we'll have and there's a slice of set aside in there for some disabled American veterans. But it will be 55 or better.
Age up.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any thoughts of what type of businesses you're thinking you're going to attract or have in that space?
Well, we've had a marketing company that has contacted us. We've also had a workout facility, but we don't know if that will work very well with the seniors. You know, potentially a daycare, an accounting firm, financial institution, something like that along those lines.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Couple things. The plan, or the park board this evening before this meeting, moved forward with a recommendation to this group regarding a parkland swap. It's about 8,500 square feet. total down at where Andy Crone has the building next to the old Norlake building that he redeveloped. That's gonna be coming pretty quickly. There's a large corporate entity that will be proposing to office in there, as well as some condo development. It's, and Pat, you chair the park board, so I.
Yeah, it really turned, Park Board felt that it really turned out to be a good deal for us in that we're gonna pick up 7 to 8 parking spaces along Orange Street that go down to the boat launch there that we can improve. Part of our master planning that we've been doing was talking about using that boat launch as a boat launch for kayakers and canoeists, and we'll have more room for that. We'll be able to have space for racks and the like to go in there. We're picking up 7 parking spaces then along First Street in front of the building as part of it in the swap. So I think the park board felt that it was a win-win all the way around for us.
Yep. So that's coming down the pipe. That'll be a long process. There'll be rezonings involved in that. There'll be the NR 118 regulations we'll have to work through, as well as the development plans and CSM. And the biggest, I think, news since we've last met, and she's gonna probably not be too pleased with me for calling her out on this, but Liz is retiring. And I just want to let her know, and so this group knows that, you know, when I took this job, you know, you think you kind of know what you're getting into a little bit. You know, I grew up here. But there's a lot of things you have no idea how involved the job is and how much it is, you know, and I've told her this several times, but for me to start here and to do this job would have been impossible without her. Impossible. She's been here for 42 years in different capacities. And just an amazing work ethic. I've been in this business between the economic development and the planning side for, you know, granted, I'm still a kid, I guess, 10 years. And I've never seen somebody put the amount of work and the amount of quality work out. And I think, Gerard, you've seen it. You know, you've done this, and I think everybody around this table's seen it. And she just does a fantastic job.
It would take 3 people to replace her.
4.
Yeah, truly.
So
I'd like to add on to that too. I've experienced both sides of the coin, so to speak, working with Liz. One is from the park board side, but the other being from the standpoint that when we brought the golf course project in, the competency is phenomenal, but the historical background and knowledge of what has taken place in the city and the file system you must have is phenomenal, because you've been the cerebral cortex to the Public Works Department for all these years, and you have done just a fabulous job. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure working for the city. I'm glad I stayed on to initiate mine. And I thank all of the current as well as the past members of the Plan Commission, as well as all of the other city boards and commission and councils and everybody that I've worked with and staff and all the developers and just all the contacts. It's been great, and I am truly going to miss it.
Thank
You
you.
can always reconsider.
Congratulations. Liz.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you, Liz. Thank you for all you've done.
5:30 on the 16th. Who
16th
can
of
make
what?
it of October
For,
for Plan Commission?
Next meeting.
16th.
It's Monday, it'll be
A Monday.
before the
5:30?
council meeting.
Yep. It'd be before I have 2 CUPs and then potentially final development plans.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm looking at you.
So a short meeting?
Rightfully
Yes,
so.
because we have budget, we have the finance committee's got a budget hearing at 5.
Oh, okay.
So they're gonna have to step out and.
5:30.
I'm out of town.
I think I'm okay.
Do you have a next meeting date?
First Tuesday in, or the first Tuesday in November,
Okay,
for sure.
okay.
That third Tuesday, we probably need to do some further a look at that with the library board conflict. Because the library board meets on the third Tuesday, and we meet on the third Tuesday, so we might need to take a look at,
Again.
That's your fault. Man, we were on Thursdays, now we're on Tuesdays. All right, so for sure, the first Tuesday in November.
absolutely, 100% guaranteed.
All right,
meeting
I'll
that
put
day.
that down. I
You're good.
apologize about it,
That one I
Tom.
could have a conflict, but I don't know yet.
Okay.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. We stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.